Hello, it's Sebastian Danicic here. We're on to week 8, which is defining your own recursive data structures. But before we do that, we're going to play a bit with Hope. Remember we did Hope earlier on the course? If you haven't got Hope on your machine, you have to log on to Igor to run Hope. To do Hope, you simply type Hope, and you get a prompt like that. So what I want you to do is to type in some simple expressions. So there's one. So I've typed in round bracket 1 comma 2 round bracket semicolon, and it's just the answer is, well, the value of that expression is 1 comma 2, and the type is num cross num. So in other words, that's a pair of numbers. So let's try the next one. Now we've got a pair where the first one is a number and the second one is a character. So this time the result is num cross char. So we could have typed something like 1 plus 1 comma c. Now the first one here results in the value 2, and another one is c. So again we've got a pair of number num cross char whose value is 2 comma c. There's some others here. Let's pick that one. So here we've got, because we've got square brackets, this means a list, but the elements of the list are all numbers, so the result is a list of numbers. Let's do the next one. Now this time we've got a list 1 plus 1, 1 and 1, and the answer is 2, 1, 1, again a list of numbers. So it's worked out this 1 plus 1, but it's still given us a list of numbers. The third, this one here, this looks like a string, the string dog. It thinks of strings as lists of characters. So we can write lists of characters using the inverted commas like that. Now what about this last one here? We've got a list, each of whose elements is a list. What sort of list is each of the elements? It's a list of numbers. So this must be a list of lists of numbers. It's a list, each of whose elements is a list. There we go, a list of numbers. Okay, so that's something about types. Now in Hope you can't do things like this. Oops. You can't do things like this, because here we have a list. Oh, that's not a good example. Here we have a list whose first element is a number and whose second element is a character. Now in Hope, all the elements of the list must be of the same type, so this will give us an error message. Yes, so it's complaining that the first one's a number and the second one isn't, right? So when you in Hope, when you define lists, all the elements of the list must be of the same type. But with tuples like 1a, the elements don't necessarily have to be of the same type. Okay, the second question asks you to make up some expressions like these ones here of these types, so I'll leave that for you for an exercise. Like the next thing says, try out the length function. So here we have length. It takes a list of, alpha means anything, it takes a list of anything and returns a number. This means length of the empty list is 0, and the length of the list whose head is x and whose tail is m is 1 plus the length of m. So in other words, if there's nothing in the list at all, we say its length is 0. The length of a list which isn't empty is 1 plus the tail of that list, 1 plus the length of the tail of the list. So if you know the length of the tail, to get the length of the whole list, you simply add 1. So let's try this function in Hope. So I'm just going to try cutting and pasting that into there, and now so it's accepted it. So now if I type length 1, 2, 3, 1, what should it say? Well, it should say 4, because the length of this list has got 4 elements in it. 4, and again it gives us the type. So let's do length. Let's do some more. That's another way of writing the empty list, just square brackets with nothing in. So there's, let's do length of this list. Now, this is a list of lists. How many lists in this list? Well, there's one, there's the other, there's the other, and there's the other. So the length of this list should be 4, as it is. Now, you can save, when you do a HOPE program, you can put the output in a file. I mean, you can put your program in a file. You don't have to type it in, as I've been doing, and then you can just say HOPE -F and the file name, and it'll run the same program.